Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in. Welcome to the 411 podcast. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining out there. I see you out there. If you can please do me a favor and please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, text a friend, do whatever you need to do to let them know what we got going on here on the 411 podcast. I am so excited to be here tonight. This is Coaching Sessions Thursday. And it truly is a coaching session because I have been coaching since 6 o'clock today. So I do 2 hours back to back, and we're here. We're rocking. We're rolling. So I want to say thank you so much. And we're going to make this a great show tonight. And I couldn't do it without each and every one of you out there. So I want to say thank you. And before we get started, I want to give a very special thank you to my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and podcast, doing a thing I love, connecting, speaking, talking, teaching, working with so many different people all over the globe. And I want to say thank you so much. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. I see you all coming in. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much. Let's just keep this energy going, keep this energy flowing. And we here. Disc 5 restoration, track 18, late start, heavy load. We're going to get into this. It is the 22nd. I also want to make sure I put that stamp out there because there's so many different shows and we need to stay on track here. So it's the 22nd of May. Thank you all for coming on in. And I want to give a very special thank you to Facebook family. Thank you as well. Thank you all for liking and watching. Y'all definitely did it last night. So let's get into what we spoke about last night on Reading Between the Wines. It was an interesting show. We had a little fun last night. I sipped on some sangria grande, and it was 11.5%. So I only poured one glass, and I definitely was feeling it. But the synopsis of yesterday's show was it was out there. We helped Lionel and Mariah. They were from Kansas City, Missouri, and they had a big spending problem, over $75,000 worth of debt, and they are not really intimate anymore. It was a lot of dynamics going on within their situation. Both had great jobs, but they have a spending problem. So myself and Birdman 313, we dissected that scenario the best way we possibly could to be able to give our insight on that as well. So if you want to find out about what happened with Lionel and Mariah with their $75,000 worth of debt, barely speaking, they got mortgages, cars, all types of stuff. And the only thing that they knew how to do was wind down like we did on Wind Down Wednesday. They basically drink at night. So you want to find out about that scenario and that show, watch that replay from yesterday. And special thank you to Birdman 313 for jumping in and helping me, dissect that scenario that we had last night. Now we are here tonight and we're going to do it again like we do each and every night. So stick around because we are speaking about late start, heavy load. So you want to find out what that's about, stick around as we get to dissect that. And I have my special guest, Miss SOS, coming in tonight to help me out with that. But we're going to get into this here. Song of the day, I'm a Hustler. The remix by Cassidy featuring Mary J.Blige. You know that's my girl. That was released in 2005 off of his album, I'm a Hustler. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a talk about Mary, but I definitely want to say that my girl did her thing at that Knicks game. So I saw it. I don't know if anybody saw it, if y'all a Mary fan, but it's definitely doing her thing. Keep doing it. Keep the fans happy and keep us going because we love to see Mary doing her thing. But so this song of the day, I'm a Hustler. We speaking about Cassidy here. This is his record. And I want to say I love this song. You know why I love it, because Mary's on it. But I just love the theme of it. I love the inspiration behind it. I love how it's a gift to the single parent mothers out there, but I'm going to change it to the single parents in general, because I know that there's fathers out there who hustle and do what they have to do to make it work for their children as well. And sometimes the fathers don't get, I'm not going to say respect, but it's just something missing sometimes. I know that the mothers are very important because it starts with the mother, and without the mother, without women, we obviously wouldn't be here. But the same aspect, without men, we wouldn't be here as well either. So I'm speaking about the fathers who are out there actually doing the right thing, being a part of their children's lives. And for the mothers out there who encourage that, that's a lot to be said about that. I know that you two may not be together. It didn't work out, can't work out, not in this space, not on another timeline. It just, we already know what it is. But when you encourage the relationship between your children and their father, because you know that that relationship is important, and as long as the father is showing up and doing the right thing, that's amazing. Not a lot of women can do that. Not a lot of women do that. So shout out to all of the single parents out there. You are the true superheroes. I'm talking about the ones that just sacrifice so much just to make sure that their children have a better life than they had. I never wanted my children to experience a divided household and be raised by, two different households. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to break that generational curse in enough time. And that came to how I interacted with my relationships, how I conducted myself in relationships in general. I wasn't able to break that in time enough for my children to experience, a solid household. And, you know, more is caught than more is taught. I say that 1,000 times. More is caught than more is taught. Your children are going to pick up a heck of a lot more than what you think just by watching you. You don't have to sit there and tell them. Like for my children, I don't have to tell them how to cuss somebody out because they learn from the best. I'm sure that their vocabulary when it comes to letting somebody have it, it is on point to the T. Now, am I proud about that? Absolutely not. But at least I know that they won't have a problem when it comes to that. But not that we want to, condone that. But more is caught than more is taught. So, having said that, I'm thankful that, maybe I didn't, attack the first aspect when it comes to having a solid household, but through my journey, through the trials, through the issues that I've been through, I have been able to break many generational cycles when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to mental health, when it comes to physical and financial well being. Because a lot of those things, and in a lot of households, we don't speak about it enough. And that's why I'm here to continue to show up each and every night, not just for my legacy, but to help inspire and teach and develop others and to help cultivate this wonderful situation that we have going on here today. So for those of you out there who may be experiencing some of the same issues that I speak about here on the 411 podcast, I've been there too. That's the reason why I'm here. Don't give up. Keep hustling. Keep grinding and keep doing whatever you need to do to stay afloat in this game which we call life. And I'm going to give you some of the lyrics from this because I was in a good situation when this song came out. In 2005, I was probably at the height of my career, making a lot of money. But it's records like this that remind me of where I came from. It's records like this that reminded me when I saw my mother being a single parent, struggling, hustling, trying to make it work. So Mary says to all the single parent mothers just trying to survive, doing what you got to do, working 9 to 5. Because we hustle 7 days out the week. Because we hustle just to stay on our feet. And then there's another line that says, we got to put food on the table. We got to keep our family strong. I love this record. And I just want to say, if you're out there hustling, doing what you got to do, working on you, working on your spiritual aspect, working on your physical aspect, working on that mental aspect, working on that financial aspect. Keep hustling, keep doing what you need to do to make it work for you. Because everything starts with self. And once you get you under control, then you're able to help others. You're able to help your family. You're able to help the closest ones to you. So keep hustling, keep strong, keep doing what you have to do to make it work. Yeah, we here. We here. We up. I want to say thank y'all so much for coming in. Track 18, late start, heavy load. Disc 5 restoration. I'm going to go ahead and bring my special guest up. Let's see what Miss SOS has going on here tonight. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, sweet lips. I'm hanging in there.
I'm
How are
good. I'm
you?
good. How's your day today?
Oh, God, it was hectic, but I
We
survived it.
we here. We made it. But
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah. I'm
Go
not,
ahead. No, go
huh?
ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. I am tired, but I always like hanging out with you, so it's
That's what's
worth
up.
it.
I appreciate that. I will tell you that Monday
Yeah.
I had one of those days. I was so mentally drained. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, I feel you. I know. So we gonna try to make this as painless as possible. with hopefully with some laughter to keep the energy light.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's all good,
Well,
though.
welcome
Yeah.
on into coaching sessions Thursday. Yeah, so let's get on into it. So we're gonna go to Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. Although I will tell you that I'm not a fan of New Jersey right about now. It has been cold. I'm keeping it real. It's like 45, 50 degrees. I had to dig back into my winter collection and I put on thermals today. Now, I was just enjoying a couple days ago with a t-shirt on, getting kissed by the sun, and then now we back to this BS right here. I was looking in the mirror like, "Ooh, you got that sun kiss. I like that." And then now we back to this BS. Rain, cold, not feeling it, not liking it.
Mm.
What's the temperature where you at?
Oh, probably in the
See? Can't,
80s.
here it is about to be June in a couple days and we dealing with 50s and rain and 60s and mm-mm, crazy.
It's the way of the world, sweet lips. It's the way of the world. What could I say?
I can say I don't like it.
I already know that.
All right, so let's head on over to Newark, New Jersey. We helping out Mr. Roland. He's in his 50s and he's a custodian and an Uber driver. So after raising two kids as a single dad, Roland is finally trying to get his life back. But with no savings, back taxes, and car repairs piling up, he's wondering if it's too late to break the cycle. And he's tired, but he's not ready to give up. So I'll read that again. After raising two kids as a single dad, Roland is finally trying to get his life back. But with no savings, back taxes, and car repairs piling up, he's wondering if it's too late to break the cycle. He's tired, but not ready to give up. So, what do you think about Mr. Roland?
I thought long and hard on this one because I feel Mr. Rowland. Although I don't have that situation, but I can definitely understand. It's never too late for anything, honestly. For any, I mean, he's 50, so really that's not old, you know. Although he's probably tired, but no. First off, he will definitely have to admit that he knows that he's in a situation and he's going to have to do something about that situation. So, my thinking is that he would probably search for, I don't know, maybe a counselor, or what do you go to when you're in a financial situation? You would go to someone maybe who can help you to get started on a plan or something, to work with you in your finances to see where you are, and make a plan to, pay certain amounts or something like that. I don't really know. I'm just, kind of, I mean, that's what I would do, but, um, so I would say the first thing is probably to seek help and have someone to explain, um, what can be done. And he's just going to have to, um, I don't know. I mean, he's just going to have to do what he can if he doesn't want to be in that situation. I'm sure that, he'll find something, to help or to solve this problem, to get him, on the path of getting out of debt.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I love how you says that it's never too late. Um, that's key. So many people think because they're older that they can't, you know, change. And we can always change. Every single day that we wake up, we have the opportunity to think differently and do something different. So I love that aspect that you said it's never too late. Um, However, I will say that even though it's never too late, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be a challenge and it's not going to be hard. So I think as
Hmm.
you time ticks, because time isn't forever, well, it is, but we aren't here forever. So um, you have to work harder. And so if you're in your 20s
Hmm.
and you're listening, congratulations because you're in the right spot. If you're in your 30s, okay, you might have a little setback. By the time you get in your 40s, all right, we starting to play with thin ice now. 50s, that's a scary moment. Now, as a financial coach, I have to keep it real. When you're in your 50s and you're playing games, that means your 60s are going to be a hell of a lot harder. So for me, I'm in my 40s and it's called the decade of sacrifice. You're gonna have to spend at least 10 years of hustling, like we spoke about earlier, making this thing work. So that by the time you get in your 60s, you can be all right. So yeah, he has some work, like you said. But the first part,
Yeah.
like you said, admitting that he's in a situation. Some people won't admit that they have a
Hmm.
problem. That was powerful when you said that. Admit that he's in a situation. I like that. And when we know that when we can get out of our own way of thinking that we know it all and say, okay, I can't
Hmm.
do this on my own. Maybe I might need to seek some help. Maybe I need to reach out to somebody. Maybe I might need to ask questions, go to a library, pick up a book, listen to a podcast, do something to try to seek something other than what I think I have between, my two ears. So seek some help some kind of way.
Yeah, and definitely, because in this day and age, I mean, 2025, you can virtually, I mean, it's like you said, a podcast. I mean, there's so many podcasts out there that you can just, go on Spotify, or whatever social media platform you use. And I mean, people are out there, the information's out there. You just have to do a little research and see who you feel comfortable with,
I know that's right.
Um,
I don't
yeah.
watch. I don't watch.
There's definite, I'm sorry, there is a level of comfort, I think, that people need. Not that they need to be pacified or anything, but sometimes you just have to find somebody who you're able to connect with, so that um, the communication is raw. And when I say raw, I mean it's authentic, that you're not holding anything
Mm.
back.
Now, see, that's good. Raw and honest feedback,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want, I spoke
Mm-hmm.
about this a couple nights ago, you don't want anybody who's just going to sugarcoat things. You don't want anybody who, yeah, is going to sell you a dream. Like, this is reality, this is what we have to deal with. And yeah, I would say congratulations as a single father raising two kids. That's not easy. We don't know what the backstory is, we don't know why, but we know it's not easy. And you're in Newark, New Jersey, so that ain't easy either. So, congratulations for getting through that. I don't know how old they are. No savings. I wouldn't get down and out about no savings,
Mm.
because there's a lot of people who have no savings. Most Americans don't have over $2,000 in their bank account to cover an emergency. So, that doesn't mean that we can't build one. We can build an emergency savings fund. The back taxes, seek professional help, like you said. They have the tax forgiveness, not tax forgiveness, but the repayment plans. I don't know the ins and outs when it comes to the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that when it comes to them, whatever they want, I pay them. I keep them away. I want no parts of them.
Mm-hmm.
You, oh, excuse me, what? All right, got you immediately, because I want no parts of that. You don't want to get into any back tax situations. So that's something. The car repairs piling up. That's a problem. And there's
Mm-hmm.
two things that I was always told as a kid, teenager, whatever, growing up. You want to take care of two things: your house and your car, because you need some place to stay. Everybody needs to have some place to stay. But you're going to have to take care of that car, because you got to go and get that money to take care of the house. So you always want to make sure that your
Mm-hmm.
transportation is on point. So investing in better transportation is, I would say, that's probably one of the first things as well on a list to do. Now you're probably saying, now
Yeah.
how can he do that when he clearly is struggling as it is?
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, because, okay, now let's just use me for example. I moved all the way to this place that I live in, to take care of my grandson. He's my first grandson. I don't have a car. I had to get rid of my car before I
Mm-hmm.
came here. However, there is a car for me to borrow. So I'm responsible for the insurance, which is not much at all, the upkeep, and the
Mm-hmm.
gas. Now, I was fortunate enough that I can do that. So I'm just kind of hypothetically speaking or thinking, maybe um, he knows someone who has a car. You know, a lot of people have like used cars that are just kind of maybe sitting around, and they want people, they want the car to be used so that it doesn't go
Mm-hmm.
bad. And so maybe he can work out something with someone. I mean, providing that he even finds someone like that. And the reason why I'm using this as a scenario is because I was a military wife for 20 years. And whenever we traveled, when we were exiting whatever state we were in, there are loads of people who have like used cars, and they'll say, "Hey, we know that you guys are packing out and your car's gone, but we'll rent the car to you for like $10 or $15 a day. Just put gas in it and, keep it up or whatever." So that happens a lot in the military. So I think that's why I use that example, that maybe he can, find someone. But again, he's also trying. You know what I'm saying? Um, he's just trying to get his finances together. It's not that he's going to use that person's car forever, but he does need, some kind of transportation.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point. I this actually Thank you for bringing that up. First of all, I didn't know that. I didn't know two things that you lived that life for 20 years. I didn't know that. That's the first aspect.
yeah.
Second aspect is I didn't know about the renting of the cars. That just a light bulb just went off because that's in
Hmm.
military towns. There's constantly in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's kind of hard to keep up with that
Hmm.
like that. And then what do? You buy a
Yeah.
car, and then now all of a sudden you got to be shipped somewhere else. So then now you have to sell it, and you have to deal with the nonsense and the BS, and you can't take the car with you. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we can take our cars with us, but once all the household stuff is packed up, the car goes
Oh,
out with it. So then we fly to our
oh,
destination and then we have to wait for our car. But usually, when people are exiting the island and they still maybe have a week or so, or the island, that's because I was living on Guam. But wherever they're living, normally there's somebody in their community that will have a car, and that's what
mm,
they do. They just, tell you, you can use it for however long you want. This is what we ask, and there's insurance and all of that. But I mean, it's nothing astronomical. It's just to help you to get around because it's
right.
difficult, coming in and going out with
Wow.
nothing.
Now, as I'm looking at this, and we're sitting here going through this, he's an Uber driver. That will
Hmm.
probably be the reason why he may have some car repairs, and they're piling up. Now, this is one thing that
Hmm.
as a financial coach, I do not recommend. First of all, without being a financial coach, because I would never do it myself. Whenever someone wants to make money, the first thing that they think about is Uber. Think about Uber,
Hmm.
they think about door dashing, they think about all of these things because it's easy money. But you don't realize, if you don't, that there's wear and tear on your car. And now when that messes up, now what you gonna do? Now you're messing up your main transportation source that you need to get the more to get the money in the first place, your main source of income. And then now you're Ubering on the side. Yes, you're making money, but there's wear and tear on your car, and then what's going to outweigh? Because most of the time, I don't know, but that money that you make is not going to cover the expenses because we're not putting money aside for the rainy day.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
just living in a present moment. And yes, we have extra money coming in and it's great, but there's wear and tear on that car. Eventually, you're going to need to get it serviced. So that could
Yeah.
be one of his problems. So maybe the simple solution is maybe
Hmm.
we just find another side hustle other than Ubering.
Yeah, because Ubering is definitely a hustle kind of a job, though.
You want to know why I couldn't do it?
The,
Because
hmm,
I don't want nobody in my car. I couldn't do that.
hmm.
What about you? Would you be able to do that?
No, because I'm an ex-smoker and I can't stand to smell people who have smoke on them.
Oh, so
I don't,
if someone smoked a
yeah.
cigarette, like maybe I'm sure 5 minutes before you would be able to smell. But what if it's like,
Mhm.
an hour ago, you still can pick that up?
Oh, yeah, when you're a non-smoker, because it's all over you. It's in your clothes, it's in
Mm.
everything,
you won't, you won't
you
want them in
know?
your car, huh?
No, no, no. If I can say, when I was married and I was living in Dumfries, Virginia, Woodbridge, Virginia, maybe most people know Woodbridge. So it's like maybe a 40-minute drive into
Hmm.
DC. So they have those lines well, they call it the slug line. I don't know what they call it in Jersey, but it's where people line up to go to different places. So my ex, he would be going to the George Washington University because that's where he worked with the kids who were going into the Navy as officers or whatever out of college. So anyway, different people would pull up, and you would be in that particular line
Mm-mm.
already. And I told him, I said, if someone rolls their car down and it smells like cigarettes, we're not getting in
Mm.
there. Because in the wintertime, the windows are rolled up and the heat
Ugh.
is on. That is the most god awful smell in the world. And I have bronchitis.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
So, no, the answer is just no.
now it's so funny because as a kid, I remember coming back taking 295 or not 295, 95. Sorry, I got the roads mixed up. And I always seen the sign for Dumfries, as you just basically told me what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I thought it was as a
Mm-hmm.
kid?
What? I can imagine. Dumb
Absolutely.
fries.
I'm like, what the hell is this place? I want to go to Dumfries. Do they sell fries? That's what I used to think as a kid.
Yeah, it's right next to Woodbridge, and then you go to Stanton, or I don't know, not Stanton, Stafford. Is it Stafford? I don't know. I've been away from Virginia for a while, but anyway, so yeah, Dumfries, Virginia.
Interesting. Learn something new every day. See, it's never too old. Never too old to learn something new. All right, so I think we cracked it here. I think that maybe his problems is this Ubering. I would stop it with the car, Ubering people around. Try to get that under control, and if the car is not worth it, try to find some help. The
Mhm.
professional with those back taxes, that is key, because listen, they'll
Mhm.
come in there and they'll take money out of your bank account, so you want to fix them. There's so many different aspects here, so many different dynamics that I know we're saying admit this, that you did this, and you have a problem and seek some professional help. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. Number one, you're an
Mhm.
Uber driver and your car is having a problem. Now you get in a car and somebody needs to go to an airport and it breaks down.
Mm.
No good. That person is not going to be happy, and that's not going to be a good situation, and you probably will not get any good reviews. So I would probably find another side hustle. I'm gonna take it to the top because there's so much. Another side hustle. Cut out the Uber driving. Um, driving.
I know what you meant to say. I know what you meant
um,
to say. Yeah.
Focus on that savings. I know it's hard. I know it's easier said than done, and so many people are like, "What are you talking about?" But focus on that emergency savings, and you'll thank me later. Start with at least $1,000, and if you can't with that, with the situation, try to slug away 20, $25, $50 a pay cycle until you can get up to that. Fix those back taxes because they will come in and wreak havoc.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, seek that professional help, whether it's the tax forgiveness, debt consolidation. I don't think a financial, I mean, I do know that financial coaching is good, but this is when you are on track, you don't owe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to focus on that three-letter word. Did I say that right? They have three letters in their name. You need to focus on them, get them out of the way. I don't even want to say them.
Uh,
To take care of
yeah.
it immediately. So I think that that's what we have for Mr. Roland. But
Yeah. I do want to clarify something. I think what I said was okay, but I was thinking that he didn't have a car, but he was just having issues with his car. And that's why I said the thing about maybe he could find, somebody out there who could lend him a car, because I was thinking he didn't have any transportation at all.
Mm,
But he does have transportation. It's just that the bills are racking up because, um, his car is taking wear and tear,
yeah.
and he's got to have repairs and things like that. Yeah, so that is very important. But I want to say, when I was living in Charlottesville, Virginia, which I just moved from in 2024, I was there for 12 years. That's the only place in my whole life that I've ever lived in one place for 12 years.
Mm,
My whole life. I mean, I'm 64 now, and it just blew my mind that I was there for 12 years. But what I wanted to say is, the kind of life that I have, you might be able to call me a nomad person. Um, and I did have a car, and then there was a time when I didn't have a car, and then I got a car again. But for me, because of how I live my life, I lived in a college town, so it was very easy to get around.
mm-hmm,
And also, uh, I have a lot of points racked up with Amtrak, because I just hop on the bus, 10 minutes away, go to Amtrak, go to DC, hang out,
mm-hmm.
stay, because all of my relatives are there anyway, and then, come home. And I use the bus. I use the bus a lot, but Charlottesville's not really that big anyway. So for me, that style of life worked. You
Right.
know what I mean? But for everybody, it's not going to work. But for me, it's like, oh, well, shit, I don't have a car, but well, the bus is there. Look, I don't have a problem taking the bus. I mean, whatever. Like I said, I was a military wife for 20 years, so I don't think it's anything that I haven't done. Well, I've never stayed in a hostel before. So,
I
but that's
mean,
the list, though. I am going to stay in a hostel at least once just to try. But anyway, I'm
well,
just talking about the transportation part.
well, yeah, I'm gonna chime in on that hostel. One thing I have to say to that is more power to you because I ain't doing it. That's the first thing. The second thing, let's talk about the car situation. So I will tell you that don't be embarrassed by the car situation, because cars have been very important in my
Mhm.
lifetime. Because as a kid, we had the worst car on the block.
Mhm.
The worst car on the block. Like you could hear us coming before you saw us.
Oh, Lord.
And I want you to picture Ace Ventura. Do you remember the car he had, Ace
Yes.
Ventura? Those are
Yes.
the types of cars that we had growing up. Now, so when I started to get cars, I was very, I'm trying to think of the right word. Help me out here. What word? It's not a complex, is it? I had a situation when it comes,
Probably.
yeah.
Probably.
So I had to have a nice car. So I got myself into situations where what I drove was more important than anything. And I got myself into situations where I had to get two cars repossessed. It was actually a me possession. I told them to come get it because I ain't paying you no more. It's one thing when they come and steal it from you while you're at work or you're whatever, but there's a such thing called a me possession when you basically know that absolutely not, I'm not doing this, come and get it. Now, I'm not
Mhm.
giving anybody any advice of how to do this, but what I did was I knew that this was coming, so I stopped paying them. And that money that I was going to pay them every month, I socked that aside and I went and got me another car. So then when they did come and pick it up, guess what? It wasn't an issue because I already had my wheels. Now, if you let them just come and outright take it from you and you don't plan, that's a whole nother story.
Mhm.
But then on the aspect, you still have to pay that money back. So
Mhm.
just be very careful with that too. But there's nothing wrong with just saying, guess what? I just don't drive. I just don't drive for a little bit while I get myself out of debt. Especially
Exactly.
if you can walk, like you said, if you can take transportation, if you can ride a bike, if you can ride a scooter. Listen, when you sit there and worry about what somebody else thinks of you, then that's when you got a problem. But if you don't care about any of that stuff,
I don't.
and right about now, let me tell you, I can't wait till these self-driving cars kick in because I don't want to drive no more. I want somebody to drive me around. So I'll be signing up for these little cars that will be driving these self-driving cars because I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Push a little
I'm
button
like
on your
that.
cell phone, and a automated Uber is sitting right outside your house in less than 5 minutes. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, like the Jetsons. Who knew, right?
I'm all right with that. What do you think about that? Would you get into a self-driving car?
Um, I probably would. I think I would just like wait for a minute, and just kind of
Oh,
check it out or whatever. But yeah, I would. I don't. Yeah,
you're
I
you're
would.
you're smart. You never be the first person to jump on. You let everybody else test drive it first.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see how they, what's going on. Did they end up in the ocean? I don't know, but
But I did see them when I was in Arizona in January. I saw them on the road.
Oh, no kidding. What did it look like?
Well, it's a regular car, but it has like flashing lights on the top of it and on the sides, and they constantly swirl and flash. So when you're driving, you know that that's a self-driving car. And I thought it was interesting when I was driving and it turned. It was in a turning lane and I was going past it. So I said, "Oh, well, that's interesting." But when I went for a morning walk one day, it started coming down the street, and my first instinct was to run because it reminded me of like a runaway shopping cart. Like you don't want to get hit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I got myself in check. I said, "That's kind of crazy that you be trying to run. Like, just chill out. It's you know what it is because I passed it on the road the other day." But yeah, it's interesting to see it. Kind of freaks you out a little bit when you see nobody in there in a car just driving down the street.
I know. That's really wild.
But they're in Arizona and they are moving to California. So my prediction is that
Mm,
once they tackle California, the next state is New York. Now,
yeah.
if they can conquer that in New York, it's a complete rollout because those people drive like crazy in New York.
Don't they though? They do. You know what? There's no difference between New York drivers and people who drive in the Philippines.
Wow.
And people who drive in the Philippines, they have their own rules. I swear. I don't want anybody, if you're Filipino, to get um, offended. But I I was I had a personal driver because we were diplomats in the Philippines, so I was sitting in the back, and um, I, our car was to the far right. Well, there was a car in the far left lane, and it just cut all the way over, like just like it
Mm.
was just nothing. It just cut all the way over to the right, in front of our car. And my driver, who's Filipino, he says, "Ma'am, don't worry." He said, they know how to drive. It's just how people drive here. And I say, "Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about me driving here."
Yeah, I know that's right. I drove a limousine in New York.
Mm,
I was don't know what I was thinking, but that job lasted for about maybe 3 to 6 months. But I was shocked. Stretch limousine in Manhattan. Yep.
gee. Yeah, no, I wouldn't drive in New York either. Mm-mm. No.
My favorite
Well,
place.
people say they won't drive in DC, but I was born in DC, so I know all the circles and all of that stuff. But um, some people like, oh no, I'm not driving in DC. But I guess maybe because I'm used to it.
Mm, they got it. You said a lot of circles and stuff there.
Oh, circles galore. When
No.
whoever designed that place, it wasn't Thomas Jefferson, whoever the president was, or at that time. Yeah, everything is a circle there.
Wow, that is,
So you drive around circles.
I first of all, I wouldn't like that. And I want to say that is so mystical that you brought up Thomas Jefferson because my next question was going to be have you ever been to the White House?
Yes, I have. And also, Thomas Jefferson, Charlottesville, Virginia is the home of Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, I think, the
That's
two presidents.
that's
Yeah.
James Madison is the one that jumped out the window, right?
Oh, did he jump out the window? I
Maybe,
don't know.
maybe that was Andrew Jackson. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, Thomas Jefferson, he had all the slaves and what's his name? Sally. I don't even want to say the name because I lived there so long and you think I'd know the lady's name, black lady that he had all the kids with. But
Wait a minute.
yeah, no,
Wait a minute.
huh?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Thomas Jefferson had kids with a slave.
Yeah.
Why don't I know that information? I'm sorry, everybody, if I don't know that information.
Oh yeah, he was getting out. Yeah. I mean, they all do, right? But yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they have little babies, running around and stuff. But he was what, our third president? Yeah. But yes, I have been to the White House actually. That was when Clinton was in office. Our next door neighbor, when we were living on Bowling Air Force Base in DC, he's like, "Hey, you wanna go to the White House?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go to the White House." And we got a chance to go in one of the rooms, and
Hmm.
it's pretty nice, yeah. But then when 9/11 came,
Hmm.
DC is not the same anymore.
Wow.
All the wonderful free events that they put on for the public, like the Easter egg hunt
Oh,
on the
I
White
forgot about
House.
that.
Yeah, we went to all of that stuff. I mean, Ben and Jerry's ice cream all day long, M&M candies, like just anything that you could think of. Marbled eggs, and if you found a egg with the cat's print on it, or the dog that they had, or if it just said the White House, it was absolutely fantastic. All of it was free all day until they closed it down.
Hmm.
Every Easter until 9/11.
Wow, that's crazy. Hmm.
And I was on the highway when the airplane came down to hit the Pentagon.
That's amazing.
Like, I saw the airplane and I thought, that's really weird. Like, why would the airplane be over here? And the next thing I knew, there was this big loud boom, a ball of fire, and then smoke everywhere. And I turned the radio and said that it just hit the Pentagon.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, we won't go get off the subject, but one thing keeps leading to the
I
other. You
know,
know what I
right?
mean?
You just sit there and just that's cool. That's good. You know how it
Yeah.
flows.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, now is the time where we get into our segment of burning questions. If you like tonight's show, if you want to give us feedback, if you want to chime in on tonight's burning question, please feel free to text me at 609 200 1098. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. That is the official 411 podcast reading between the wines hotline. And tonight's burning question is there still time to rebuild your life when you're starting over in your 50s with debt and disappointment? I'll read that again. Is there still time to rebuild your life when you're starting over in your 50s with debt and disappointment? What do you think, SOS?
Like I said before, yes, indeed. But it's got to be a thing where you really are going to be intentional about it. And like I said, the first part is just admitting.
Mm,
Seek help, find some counseling, just see what's going to work for you. even if you have to go through a few people, but it is never too late. It's never too late,
Right.
ever, ever.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, there is still time. If you are breathing, you still have
Hmm.
time to get it done. It won't be easy as it would have been if you had started a long time ago. That just means you're gonna have to hustle and you're gonna have to flow a little bit harder than the average bear. So, but you still can get it done.
Yeah. And I just want to add one more thing. I know that we don't really know everything about this person, but sometimes we have to take into account as far as what they are able to do, because nowadays much older people are having to learn new things or to do things differently than they would before. So then they have to come out of that mindset. Well, we used to, well, it's no longer we used to. It's like what we're doing right now. So get on board, suck it up. Because I'm one of those people too. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do that shit, but then it's like, well, you don't really have a choice because they don't do things like they did when you were born. People were dinosaurs then.
I I
I'm
know what you
saying.
mean.
I was born in 61. You know what I mean? Life was fucking great.
Well, I get caught up in that too. Okay, for example, I was in the store and this lady was asking me about the sale. And I'm like, well, didn't you get the text message? And she's sitting here saying, I don't want to do the text message. And I told her, well, I said, well, you might get left behind. So that was me letting her know, like, you need to get it together because I'm sure you text your children or your grandchildren. You can sign up for a text message if you want this discount. That was the one thing. But then I find myself
Mm,
when it comes to how the prices used to be. I got to get with myself and
mm.
say, no, when you go to Burger King or you go to McDonald's, nowadays a good $15-$20 is only going to get you enough food that you need. Forget about when you were in high school when I could go up and get something for $5 or $6 and, hook my friends up as well. That don't work no more. That $20 ain't gonna stretch for four people no more. That's only gonna focus on you. I have to tell myself that when it comes
Hmm.
to the prices of things too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you can't get stuck in
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. Um, and just thinking back, since we are talking about, things from way back when, I was in junior high school in DC. I was a bi-coastal kid. So, what I mean by that is whatever parent I was living with at the time, that's where I went to school. So my dad was in DC, my mom was in California, so I went back and forth. But anyway, I was living in DC at the time and we went on a skiing trip to Massanutten.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to think, like, it was a probably mid 70s. Do you know how much a pack of cigarettes cost? Yeah, I did smoke
I'm
when I
gonna
was in junior high school, y'all. So
I'm gonna
um
I'm
what'd
gonna
you say?
say $1.
75 cents.
Hmm.
75 cents. Can you believe
No,
that?
because I asked somebody recently how much a pack of cigarettes are, and I could be wrong, but is it close to like? This is probably too high. Is it? It's not close to $15, is it?
It's possible. In 2008, when my youngest son moved to Flushing, New York, and me and my oldest son, we went to visit, and he's like, "Hey, can we stop at a bodega or something to get cigarettes?" $8 a pack. That was in 2008.
That's possible. It's up there.
$8. Yeah, yeah, it's
Hmm.
possible.
That's crazy because I remember going to the
Mhm.
store when I was younger, and my aunt would send me. This is when little kids could buy cigarettes, and I used to buy them for her, and it was $2.
I know,
Yeah,
right? And that's something your parents will write you a note and send you down to the corner to get some
right.
cigarettes.
I'm going.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Ooh, but what about when we used to, well, you probably don't remember this, Laren, but when I used to fly like years ago, you could smoke on the
oh, hell
airplane.
no,
It was,
no, I don't know.
yes, it was so normal to just sit there and smoke and put in that little teeny ashtray on the, on the arm seat. Everybody was smoking
Oh, hell
cigarettes.
no.
Poor children.
Yeah. First of all, you got all that radiation and mess going on up there, and then now you got cigarettes too, and secondhand.
Well, now you can say that. You can say that in 2025, but that's not where you
Mm,
were. Like in the 70s, you're smoking at the doctor's office, you're smoking in the grocery store.
wow. Sm-
It's
Hell, they
amazing,
might as
isn't
well
it?
just let people drink too.
Oh, they probably did. People got a way of stashing their
Oh
stuff.
my
Shoot.
goodness. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm an ex-smoker who cannot stand to smell cigarette smoke.
I
So
know that's great.
that's that. Yeah. And that's a deal breaker for dating too. If you smoke, no, we're
What
not
about if
dating
somebody
at all.
vapes? Because you can't smell that.
If they vape, I guess that's okay. But cigarette smoke, nope, not happening. I just don't like the smell. I don't like the smell of it.
Yeah. Well, what else would you like to add for tonight's segment before we get out of here?
Um, well, if you used to do things the old way and now you're still living and you know that you have to change over to the new way, you may not want to resist so much. And it's hard, it's difficult because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But however, um that's how the times are these days, so you'll just have to get with the program and I don't know, learn something different.
Yeah, that's some good advice there.
Your banking, everything, I mean, pretty much everything, even uh, shopping, or everything is like online, and I'm not an online shopper. I want to go into the store and touch the clothes, and I want to see if they fit my butt, because I don't have a apple bottom or whatever. So I mean, not saying that because you have an apple bottom, but all jeans don't fit me. I just cannot go and say, "Oh, let me pick out a pair." I can't do that online stuff. I need to make sure that the pants fit me.
Now, yeah,
You
when it
know,
comes to clothes, I feel you on that. But everyday stuff, I want that stuff shipped to me. I don't want to be in no line for no deodorant,
you
toothpaste, all that. Send that right to the house.
you're so extra, Laren.
Serious. No, I worked in
You are.
retail for over 25 years. I don't want to be in a store. I can't stand being in line. I want no parts of it.
He said, "Just
Yep,
just
send it
send
to
it
the
on.
house. Yep.
Just send it to me. When can I get it?" It's all right though. I always say that about you, so you know, not to take it personal. Yeah, because if I had to say who was spoiled between me and you, I definitely have to say you.
I don't know.
Yes. No, you're
I'm a
spoiled.
minimalist, so you'd be surprised.
Okay. All right. All right.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for helping me out with our scenario with Mr. Roland here in Newark, New Jersey. Thank you for your insight. It's always a wonderful time catching up with you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope the viewers or the listeners, is that what you call them? Listeners? Is that the right word?
I call them listeners.
Yeah. Hopefully they appreciate what I'm saying, but I'm not an expert on this. I'm just merely giving my opinion or what my common sense might tell me to do. But yeah, so everybody's working with whatever they're working with. So handle your business and hopefully you get it right.
Yes, yes. Well, next week, same place, same time, right?
Yes, darling. Same time.
Okay, so we'll talk to you next week. You have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Good night. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was Miss SOS coming through to help us tonight. Thank you all so much for joining. I see there. If you could please do me a favor and please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, let them know what we have going on here tonight. We are getting ready to get out, but we will be here same place, same time next week for coaching sessions Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. You can text me at 609 200 1098. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. That is the official 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines hotline. And if you'd like us to help you out, if you have something that you'd like us to try to crack the code on, you certainly email me at info@larengaines.com. And I know a way to protect the innocent, so don't be worried about that. If there's something that you'd like me to discuss and help you out, email me. We can switch some things around so that nobody would even know that it's you. info@larengaines.com. And on that note, if there was something that you heard tonight, if there was one piece of information that sort of sparked something in you, sparked an interest, you can head over to larengaines.com and sign up for my free 15-minute consultation. I focus on debt free living through the lens of spiritual, mental, physical, and financial well being. larengaines.com. Sign up for the free 15-minute consultation, and we'll see if you're a good fit for the coaching sessions. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter, Whispers of Wisdom. One simple email to your inbox once a month with updates, exclusives, inspiration, motivation, and it's all surrounded by debt free living. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you when I see you. Thank you so much for everybody out there for joining in. Thank you to Miss SOS for joining in. Thank you to all of the new people who joined for the first time. If you could please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, invite them in. And again, I will see you when I see you. This has been Coaching Sessions Thursday.